Watch this video for an introduction to the core activities found in deliberately successful performance testing projects. Experience shows that one-size-fits-all approaches fit performance testing projects poorly. Most successful performance testing projects involve at least decisions about the activities listed on the left, which are: identify the test environment, identify performance acceptance criteria, plan and design tests, configure the test environment, implement test design, execute tests, and analyze, report, and retest. These activities occur at different times, have different names, have different priorities, and may be implicit or explicit on various projects. These activities in themselves do not represent an approach to performance testing. Rather, they represent a foundation upon which to build an approach to performance testing that is appropriate to the context of your project. When identifying the test environment, it's important to identify the physical test environment, including hardware, software, and network components, in particular so that those components can be compared to the actual production environment. Other items that you want to identify in the test environment are the tools and resources you have available. Understanding the test environment will improve your test designs and plans as the project progresses. Identifying performance acceptance criteria includes criteria related to the project, the user, the business, and the system. These criteria may be implicit or explicit, hard or soft boundaries generally found around response times, throughputs, or resource utilizations. Some people find it helpful to think of response time as a user concern, throughput as a business concern, and resource utilization as a systems concern. Identifying these success criteria early can aid in test planning and test design. Test design and test planning are critical activities for a performance testing project. During these activities, you'll identify key usage scenarios, remembering to include variability among representative users. You'll define test data. You'll establish metrics to be collected, and you'll consolidate this information into models of system usage. These system usage models are likely to change throughout the course of your project, so it's important to revisit this activity periodically throughout the project. Before you can implement your test designs or begin executing tests, you will need to configure your test environment. Configuring the test environment generally includes preparing the test environment tools and resources necessary to implement and execute your tests. It's important to ensure the test environment is instrumented correctly for resource monitoring as required. Tests are usually implemented using load generation tools through a process of recording, editing, and replaying scripts. It's important to remember when implementing your test design to implement the test as designed, not as the test tool makes easy. Executing tests is what most people think of when they think of performance testing. This is the activity where you will run and monitor your tests. Additionally, while you're running these tests, you'll want to validate the test data, and the results collection processes. Monitor the test and test environment while these validated tests are being executed to ensure that the tests are exercising the system in the way that you have intended. Once you have executed one or more tests, you can begin analyzing, reporting, and retesting. This activity focuses on consolidating and sharing the results data. It's important to analyze the data both intuitively and as a cross-functional team, as everyone has different specialties and will interpret the data differently. Once you've conducted some analysis, remember to reprioritize the remaining tests and re-execute them if needed. Experience shows that the 7 activities on the left are common to deliberate and successful performance testing projects. These activities deserve to at least be part of a risk-based decision-making process when it comes to your project. It is important to understand each of these activities in detail and then apply them in a manner that best suits the context of your project. For more information, you can see performance testing guidance on CodePlex, or review the Performance Testing Guidance for Web Applications Guide, also on CodePlex.